What's going on, YouTube? It's Darian Thomas here, and today I'm going to paint these unfinished cabinets. So stay tuned and watch how I do it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the doors. As you see, I took drawers out, those two top drawers. And you're going to remove the doors. It's just going to make it a lot easier to paint. I'm going to be able to get into some of the areas I wouldn't be able to get into, obviously, if the doors were on. But also want to point out the type of paint that I got. Now, it's a special type of cabinet paint, and it's basically a white base to start. And what you can do is, you can obviously have them mix the colors. So you'll notice it's not where the normal paint is, but it's bare, one coat. That's all you have to do, nothing to it, but make sure it says, cabinet and trim. It's really important to get this type of paint because regular paint just won't do the trick. And also the really nice thing about this paint is that it's not supposed to show brush marks with a paintbrush, which is good. Anything to make it easier for me, I'm always for. So it's really important to get this type of paint. All right, so I got the doors and drawers off. Now I have them laying in front. I'm gonna paint them actually just like that. Also, I put the screws, so I put some of the screws over there and some of those screws in that plastic bag there, so I know which ones. Those plastic bag ones are the big doors. These ones are the small doors. Again, the reason why I have these doors the way that they are is just so I know how to put them back on. Again, if you don't have the area, then obviously do it somewhere else. But it'll save you from putting the doors on upside down or backwards or on the wrong side. And I definitely recommend finding sandwich back to put those screws just so you don't lose them. So now what's the fun part? Painting starts. So I just painted them. I actually just used this brush here. I'm probably gonna need 2 coats just to be safe. So you can see they actually came out pretty well, but I still may want to add a second coat. I could kind of still see some brush lines, but for the most part, I'm actually pretty happy on how they turned out. It still has to dry a little bit. I'm seeing a couple places where I definitely want to touch up. I definitely would recommend a second coat. You're obviously going to see it a lot better once it dries, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with kind of how it turned out for the most part. I'm probably going to touch up inside there a little bit, but yeah, that's just very simple brush is all that I used. I definitely recommend these smaller ones just so you have a little bit more control over it instead of the big brushes. Yeah, I'm gonna let these dry for a little bit and check back in and see how they turned out. But keep in mind, this is basically just one coat, and if you remember what the original looked like, it was just basically obviously unfinished. So I'd be pretty happy with if I just left it like this, but I definitely want to do a second coat just to kind of touch up on some other areas. So. All right, so I'm actually painting the back side of it now. Just wanted to show you how this paint goes on. Pretty good overall. I can't say I'm too upset about it, but yeah, it's definitely good paint. I definitely recommend getting it if you're going to paint cabinets. But I'm just not doing it too heavy. I'm kind of just doing a very kind of thin layer just for the most part. I'm just trying to cover everything. There's not really any specific art or technique to it. I just want to make sure I just get as much covered as possible. And like I said, just trying to hide the unfinished look and give it that white look. All right, so there it is. Just the finished product here. All painted. Now, if you notice, I do have two things that I learned. Number one is watch how heavy you sometimes put the paint on. I do have some run marks on it. I'm going to try to clean up for the most part. Once it dries up, I'm going to try to repaint over those run marks. And second off, what I did learn is So it is good to paint on top of potentially newspaper, but the issue was when that paint was running off a little bit, it would stick to the paper, and then as it stuck to the paper, it would harden, and then I would pull it off and I'd rip the newspaper, so I'd have to, like, you know, basically scrape off the newspaper from there. You know, but other than that, I definitely recommend it. I paid $149 for these. The paint, I think, was like $37 or something like that. You know, so, you know, all in, you know, at about, we'll call it, you know, $190, under $200. And I know that if I just would have bought regular white ones, it wouldn't have ran me that same price, let alone I couldn't find them anyway at this size. So, and then also another recommendation, what I did was, I bought a countertop as well. And if you notice, I did not cut this. I bought this pre-cut. So I'd like to do things to make it as easy as possible for me. Again, I don't have the tools to cut that. I'm sure I probably could, but it's not gonna be as clean cut as this. So they sell this at Home Depot as well. I believe that was only like $69, like $70. So all in, you know, for a countertop, this kitchen base, you know, I'm at like $260. And again, like if I just would have bought this just regularly, I wouldn't have been anywhere near that. So hopefully this video helps. Definitely make sure you like and subscribe for more videos similar to this. And thanks for watching.